No.
I know what I said. Yeah, so that you're aware, Dee Sandoval may be here today to talk about Montefiore. I did put in a form, she had a form with us. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners, just so you're aware, I have a shelter hearing it, and nothing they'll have to get over to.
Okay.
Thank you. The license.
Okay, thank you. Everybody ready? Welcome to the County Commissioner meeting. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The Board of County Commissioners meeting for Huerfano County for November 25th is now in session. And the first item would be the approval of the agenda. Mr. Young.
Commissioners, I have no changes to the agenda as presented.
Motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please call for the vote.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Andretta,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha,
Yes.
motion passes.
Consent agenda.
Commissioners, on the consent agenda for today, I have a green sheet for Kerry Kastner, new hire in DHS, a green sheet for Lori Terry, new hire in the SO, green sheet for Maurice Chief, new hire in the SO, a green sheet for Spencer Butler, new hire in the SO, and a pink sheet for Jason Tannis Deepin.
Make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Andretta,
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha,
Yes.
motion passes.
Public comment. I see D. Mays Sandoval's hand up, and I have no one in the room. So D, if you would please state your name and address for the record.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Dee Mays Sandoval. My address is 1010 West 27th Street, Pueblo, Colorado. I am a citizen of the United States, and I've been told I'm not a citizen of Walsenburg, so therefore, for any clarification, I'm exercising my First Amendment rights. I received the information on Montefiore Nicorino excise tax payment. When I questioned if these monies had been collected, Mr. Galusha said it was with the attorney. In the many pages of documentation I received, I could not find any correspondence or payment information since March of 2023. That payment was for $4,153.38. I did see that there were letters sent out stating payment needed to be made. Other than that, nothing from legal that I could find. It appears two of the commissioners at different times kicked the can down the road to give more time for payment, which never happened. Is it fair to say there is still a balance upwards of at least $55,000 in excise taxes due? If possible, has a lien been placed on the said property? Is the commission taking any action to collect these delinquent taxes? I know of Mr. Perino, and I know that he made some good money from the sale of his marijuana product. Will the county be pursuing any action against Mr. Perino for this? Isn't that within your responsibility to the citizens of Huerfano County? Don't Republicans claim to be fiscally responsible? Thank you.
I'm going to ask our attorney, because I know we've had the discussion about this, and thank you for the questions. We've had discussions about this, and there were some issues about the corporate structure. Do you remember what those were, Lisa?
You might have to turn your mic on.
Yes, I do remember. So there were issues with the fact that this property was leased to Montefiore. It wasn't Montefiore's property. And so we couldn't attach to the property. And then we were trying to find a way to attach it to maybe some sort of equipment he has or something like that. He's got liens on everything. He owes hundreds of thousands of dollars in court fines and judgments. it's very difficult to get his finances and force payment. So, we're trying to look at all possibilities and see where we can get our meaning, but, it doesn't look great.
And by no means were we kicking the can down the road. We were trying to allow for a sale, which was the better interest of the, for the citizens and for the county, and seeing if we could recoup some of that money, which we did by giving those extensions. There were several payments that were made. So we made more than we would have if we would have just stopped it early on. But like Lisa said, you can't collect money when there is none to be collected and there is no property attached to this gentleman.
Okay, thank you. There's no other public comments I don't see. So we'll move on to appointments, 2022 audit presentation.
Good morning. I guess that's a cue to me. My name is Jim Hinkle with Hinkle and Company CPAs, and we perform the annual audit of the financial statements as of December 31, 2022. Just to kind of give a brief overview of the audit process, we start by updating our understanding of the county's internal accounting controls. We are looking at all the policies and procedures and what we call control features as far as approvals and things of that nature. We then do a test of controls where we select random samples of disbursements and we verify whether those controls are operating as intended and that they can be relied upon through our audit process. Primarily with internal accounting controls, we are looking for a segregation of duties. That is where a transaction takes 3 steps: initiation, approval, and recording, and we want to see more than one person involved in those 3 steps. And based upon all of our audit work and our understanding of the internal accounting controls, we did not find any significant deficiencies or material weaknesses in the internal control structure. Those are terms of art for us. A significant deficiency is defined as a design flaw in the system of internal accounting controls that would allow an error to go undetected in the ordinary course of business. And a material weakness would be a significant deficiency that would potentially have a material impact on the financial statements. So that's the result that you all want to hear, is that there were no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in the design of the internal accounting controls, the accounting on the day-to-day basis. We then go to the audit of the actual financial statements. We use what we call substantive procedures, which are tested details, where we drill down into account balances and verify the underlying accounting transactions with supporting documentation. And then we do analytic review as well, where we're comparing the current year to the prior year, to budget numbers, to look for relationships that we may not expect or can't explain, and then we do more tested details. The result of that is a audit opinion, and yours is technically referred to as an unmodified opinion, or in layman's term, that is a clean opinion. States that the financial statements are prepared in accordance with general accepted accounting principles and applied on a consistent basis with the prior year. You also received close to $3 million in federal awards that were expended during 2022, and that then requires you to have what is referred to as a single audit, where the auditors are responsible for auditing compliance with federal award or compliance requirements, as well as the financial statements. We audited 5 programs: the Community Development Block Grant, the Local Assistance and Tribal Consistency Fund, the Airport Improvement Fund, the Highway Planning and Construction Cluster, and the Coronavirus Recovery Funds. Those were selected based upon the single audit federal guidelines on how we're supposed to select the various programs. We all issued 2 audit reports in regards to the single audit work. The first one is in reference or regards to what they call government auditing standards, and that's in the title of that report. Basically, it states that we have reviewed the county's system of internal controls, accounting controls over federal awards, and determined that the county does have the procedures in place to determine what federal programs it participates in and what the compliance requirements are for those various programs. And then in addition to that, and if we find any instances of non-compliance in any federal award program throughout our audit procedures, we're required to disclose that in that report. That report is also an unmodified report. We did not find any instances of non-compliance, and we found that the county does have the controls in place to know what federal programs it participates in. And while that sounds pretty straightforward, sometimes it's very difficult to know what federal dollars the county receives because money is passed through other organizations like the state, and they're required to tell you what portion of that money is federal dollars. And sometimes they do that and sometimes they don't. So it's sometimes a difficult process. The final report is a report that references uniform guidance, and that's where we select those 5 programs that I mentioned earlier, and we test in detail the expenditures associated with each of those 5 programs and verify that the county has complied with all compliance requirements. And we also look at the internal accounting controls with respect to those specific programs, and we issue a unmodified or clean opinion with respect to the 5 programs that we tested. There are no instances of non-compliance, and the internal controls are in place to ensure compliance with those programs. So all in all, we issued 3 audit reports, and all 3 are unmodified or clean audit reports. We also issue a report or a letter called a required communication letter that we are required to communicate in writing if certain events did occur in the course of the audit. And our letter says that there were no items required to communicate. We did not have any difficulties in the audit that stopped the audit. We did not have any disagreements with management. And we also prepared 7 audit entries where we adjusted the books and records of the county for various accounting items. And we have attached those entries to the required communication letter as well, as that is required. All in all, we have made progress from the 2001 audit. The county's accounting personnel were better equipped to close the books and prepare schedules for our audit. We still believe there is a ways to go in the annual closing of the books and records and preparing supplemental schedules for the audit, but we have made good progress from the 2001 audit. Carl, do you have anything you'd like to add?
I assume you mean the 2021 audit.
Yes, we've made progress from the 21 audit to the 22 audit.
Okay.
Thanks, Jim, and commissioners. I don't think I have anything to add. Well, I will. I'll just say that I think that we're making progress. But I think we still have some ways to go to get to where I think we need to be, to back where we were in 2019. But I think we're getting there, and staff is I think Kim and Ann and Nancy, when she was here, they've all done an amazing job of stepping up to the plate as far as the accruals and things like that, and getting those taken care of and reported to faster and better. So we still have some more work to do, but I think we're getting there.
Questions from the commissioners? Jim, thank you very much for the presentation, and Carl, thank you and all of your staff for keeping the books clean.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Next item is the Thorn Ranch bid opening.
Commissioners, we have received one bid via BidNet from Macho Bravo LLC. That bid does contain two bid forms. One in the amount of $800,000 for tracks 1 and 2, and one in the amount of $1.25 million for the entire ranch listed for sale.
Can you remind me what 1 and 2 are?
I'm
The
actually-
east or west of 520?
1 second to pull
Thank you.
that back up. So track 1 is the part that adjoins 69, south 69. And track 2 is 35 acres, or it's 41.29 acres, meaning next to it. So that's that catty corner.
So how many acres would be left?
Left would be roughly 600. That doesn't include the land that's not for sale.
Right.
Does not.
That does not include land that's not for sale.
So it's about half. So track 1 and 2 is about half of what's for sale,
Yes.
but it's the better half.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, but we don't have to make a decision on that right now. I think we need to evaluate these. Just bid and see if it's viable.
Yeah.
Or negotiable.
Which will take place in executive session.
So by the schedule, we're supposed to review the bids next week.
Gotcha.
In
Open session.
our workshop. And then I think the award is supposed to be the week after that.
And remind me what's left in the note.
I think it's about 1.4 or 1.5.
Thank you.
Excellent. On to action items. Guitar Mountain Park operating agreement.
Commissioners, what I have before you is an agreement to extend the operations agreement for the Guitar Mountain Park through May 1st, 2024. Double checking here. There was one question that, well, there's a typo here. We need to change it from April 15th to May 1st. But there was a question here about if you want to put in a minimum insurance amount. Currently, I think they have 2 million in aggregate and 1 million per occurrence. So if you want to go higher than that, or if you want to just state it in the contract, because right now it doesn't state what if there's a minimum amount.
Does that sound acceptable?
I think so.
So should we put that as the minimum amount?
Yes. Can we do that?
So we'll make that change if you want to approve this with the change. Or do you want us to bring this back to you?
I think we need to move on it.
I do too. Be happy to make a motion to approve the Charmont Park operating agreement with the change of adding the minimum amount for insurance
And correcting the end date to May 1st.
and correcting the end date to May 1st.
You might second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Should I clarify May 1st, 2024?
Yeah, yes.
Thank you.
We weren't gonna have
20,
your own.
wait, 20, yeah,
Yeah,
24.
24.
Yeah, 24.
Okay. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Schluter,
Yes.
Commissioner Najera,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. Commissioners, next, you have a memo on the floodway mapping analysis from Sky Tallman, who is here if you have questions. The Colorado World Conservation Board, the CWCB, is working on updating our floodplain maps along the Cacharras River through Cacharra Village. To proceed with study, CWCB needs guidance from the county on two questions. Do we want to use a 1D or 2D regulatory model? Does the county want to use AE zones with or without a floodway? The recommendation from staff is to use a 2D informed 1D model. This will make it easier for small scale projects to do a more straightforward engineering study, demonstrate no impact on development within the floodplain. Informing the 1D model with the 2D analysis provides developers with additional information that can help them design projects. Recommendation number 2 is to use the AE floodway, the zone AE floodway without the floodway, sorry. AE zone without floodway is more appropriate for low density rural areas. This allows for development in the AE zone to cause a 0.5 foot rise rather than a 0 rise in the floodway. Demonstrating a zero rise is complicated from an engineering perspective and difficult to prove. 0.5 rise might cause significant impact in congested urban areas, but is appropriate to areas such as Cacharra.
So what's the recommendation?
The 2D informed 1D model and the zone AE without the floodway. Those two combined are the recommendation.
Okay.
Combining those.
Yes. So they're asking two questions and those are the two answers.
Okay.
That'd be a motion to accept the 2D, 1D model and the zone AE without the floodway. Is
Yes.
that acceptable?
A motion to accept staff recommendation. We
Yeah.
can take it from there.
Make a motion, accept staff recommendation.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. In discussion. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Najera,
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. Commissioners, next I have for you a letter of support for the San Carlos Ranger District's OHV Trails 2025 grant. Arthur Elledge of San Carlos Ranger District requested a letter of support from the BOCC for their off-highway vehicle trails grant application as a continuation of previous year's support. If awarded, these grant funds will be used to help motorized trail maintenance, reconstruction, repairing flood damage, installation of trail signage, and drainage work, in addition to helping maintain and purchase equipment to improve ATV trails.
Pleasure of the board.
Motion to approve the vehicle grant application letter of support for the San Carlo Ranger District 2025 off-highway vehicles.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Najera,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. Commissioners, next have a liquor license renewal for Cacharra Yacht Club, Tacos on the Fly LLC.
You have to.
Do we have any?
So there have been no reported disturbances. They have already paid up to date. They're good to go on the land. I did make sure that there was, somebody had mentioned there might have been a disturbance up there, so I double checked to make sure that there was any, but nothing reported in the CAD, but they're good to go.
Thank you.
Make a motion to accept the liquor license renewal for Cacharra Yacht Club.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Najera,
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. Commissioners, next we have a airport lease assignment between Pete Myers M3 LLC and Michael Cook This is for hangar number 3 at Spanish Peaks Airport.
I would make a motion to approve the Spanish Peaks Airport lease for Myers.
I second that.
I have a motion and a second discussion. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Andretta,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. Commissioner, next I have purchase order number 77 for Convergent. This is for repairs to the elevator system at the Judicial Center. It's a termination of the old cable in the elevator. So let me translate this from my staff speak. I'm sure this is this is a connection to the elevator from the security system to make sure that when when there is a prisoner transport, that the elevator and the security system are working together.
Right, so that the elevator doesn't, you can't open the door in the wrong side, because that, when it gets to the second floor, you can open it either on the west or the east. If you open it on the west and there's a inmate in there, you can't do anything with it anyway. It's only supposed to open to the east because there's an inmate in there. So this one, and I think the next one also work together, the two invoices.
Yeah, so this is the security side, and then the next purchase order is the elevator side.
Thank you.
Make a motion to accept the purchase order 177 for Convergent on the elevator system for the amount of $4,179.86.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Andretta,
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. Next, I have purchase order number 178 for Otis Elevator Company. This is an amount not to exceed $5,000. They didn't give us a cost, they gave us an hourly rate. So we figure not to exceed of 5,000, hopefully be enough. And so this is again for the same thing for the elevator and security system combo work.
I would make a motion to approve purchase order number 178 in the amount of $5,000 for the Otis Elevator Company for the Judicial Center.
I would accept that, but with the verbiage of up to 5,000.
Yeah,
Maybe less
it may be less.
Not to exceed.
to exceed
I have a
5,000.
Okay, I have a
Yes.
motion and a second. Discussion, and just note purchase orders 177 and 178 are both covered by the grant that we just received, or the last year's grant.
Yes. We can talk about that. That's a point down too. So yeah,
Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Andretta,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. Commissioners, next have a purchase order numbered 184 for Employers Council. This is for HR consulting services related to potential layoffs. And again, this is a not to exceed number.
Make a motion to approve purchase order 184 in the amount not to exceed $5,000 for HR and consulting services.
Second that.
I have a motion and a second discussion. I don't like this personally, and I think that Lisa, can you guide us through the legalities of laying off just to make sure that we are good? Because I would rather keep this in-house and not pay a consulting firm personally. That's me personally. If just in order to cover ourselves, right? Because this is what these guys are doing, is covering us.
No, it's more than covering us. This isn't legal advice. This is procedure and process. So they would be helping us move through the process and making sure that we've made offers and things like that in the right process so that we are minimizing the risk to the county.
So at the end of action items, I'm gonna ask for a motion to not, to allow only emergency purchases for the rest of 2023 and to stop paying overtime for anything and go back to comp time just to keep the cash. So for me personally, I can't support this expense. So that's just my thoughts. So call for the vote, please.
Motion.
We have a motion. Didn't we have a motion? Yeah, we have a motion in a second.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Angela,
Yes.
Chairman Galucci.
No.
Motion passes. Commissioners, in keeping with Commissioner Galucci's last statement, this is purchase order 185 for KLJ Engineering for the Fox Theater Walsenburg. Is this strictly necessary? No. It would increase my comfort level. So what this is change order review for the Fox. And you'll see that there's a quoted amount of about $2,000, of $2,805. And the purchase order is for an amount not to exceed 5,000. Lost my page. Okay, there we go. That's mainly because I think that the price will, if we do this, it will be more than that quoted amount. Because there are still change orders coming. That said, is it strictly necessary? No.
But the purpose is for what?
The purpose is just to double check mainly the work of the engineers and architects on the Fox. We should make sure that what we're getting is reasonable and necessary.
What do you think, John?
This is kind of an insurance. I'm really torn on this because on one hand, yeah, it's not strictly needed. But if we miss something, it could cost us significantly more.
Agreed.
It is, we did check into the insurance on the Valley Rafter. And they did ask us for how much that is going to cost. I'm still waiting on those estimates back from the contractor. But there's a potential that insurance may cover some of this project, some of the construction project. I don't want to tell you that that's a definite at this point, but
They have indicated that most likely yes, because it was part of the 2021 storm that we had when the lake was on the top of the road. Damaged the truss.
What's your pleasure?
What page is that last number on again?
35.
35.
Mhm.
39.
Oh, after the agreement.
Yeah. The page with the 2,805 number.
Would you be willing to accept that instead of the 5,000? Let's compromise there and take what their change order quote is.
Yeah. The reason why I opted because this factors in, I think, 2 change orders. And there are now 3. But the third one is really small. So it might not require that much time. So I can work with KLJ if they actually do expend this amount on the first 2, we can come back with, and I guess ask for more money for the third if needed. The first 2 are the big ones.
So how would you word that with the change order
So
to, where's that?
how I would advise you word it is to approve purchase order 185 in the amount of $2,805.
Make a motion to approve the purchase order 185 and the amount of 2185,
2805. Right.
$1,185.
2085, isn't it?
2805.
2805.
2805. Oh,
Second,
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner O'Dowd,
yes.
Commissioner Spillier,
yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion
Thank you for the
passes.
compromise.
So commissioners, again, necessary question mark. This is for the advertising related to the 611 Main Gym. The tentative amount that I put in here is $8,526. If you'll scroll down, you'll see the two recommendations. So what I recommended is the smaller amount. I don't know about this one.
I would suggest, I know that the Two Peaks Fitness already has case KLs. So they can simply modify those and pay no additional fee to say that a Walsmer gym is open. So my suggestion would be that Two Peaks takes their already paid for radio ad, which talks about silver sneakers and a whole bunch of different programs, and just adds that they now have a Walsmer location. I'm not opposed to maybe like one newspaper ad, but I think we can do all the social media, get a nice flyer going and do that all in-house.
In that case, to go with that recommendation, then I wouldn't need this purchase order.
Thank you. And maybe it's a, suggest your grand opening date is this, but we're taking pre-sales for signups. And so the ad was a multi-purpose ad saying, join us for our grand opening, but also sign up ahead of time online or in person.
Okay, so no action taken on purchase order 186.
Yep.
Correct.
But can you reach out to Two Peaks with a suggestion about KSBK? Thank you.
Yes. Commissioners, next I have for you an award recommendation. On September 20th, Huerfano County released RFQ 23-07 to find a highly qualified, experienced, and creative master developer, project manager, owner representative, hereafter called a developer partner, with the intent to develop a public-private partnership to assist the realization of the county's housing goals and projects. The committee was comprised of county staff and officials. I request that you approve the award to JRA Real Estate for the Gardner Main Street project and Baker Tilly for the Rio Cucharas Inn. So if we don't want to move forward with one of those projects, this is the time to say that.
Are we required to make a decision today?
Required? No.
What did the RFP read? RFQ.
The RFQ doesn't really have an award date, and all those dates that are in there anyway are
Pretty arbitrary.
yeah, they're suggestions, except for the opening date and the closing date. Everything else in there is anything between that, but everything else after the closing date is when we get to it. We're trying to have them too far off the award date or off those dates, but this can't wait.
You already have funding for Gardner, right?
No.
The grant you received was just for planning?
Just for planning, and it's closed now. That's another issue we'll talk about too.
Okay.
I would, on this one, would ask the commissioners to consider not taking action on this, and let's have more discussion about what our ultimate goals would be for Gardner Main Street and the Rio Cucharas Inn, and what that funding would look like before we make a decision on these.
I agree.
You okay with that?
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, commissioners, next I have for you your November vendor run in the total amount of $572,544.91.
Make a motion to approve the vendor run in the amount of $572,544.91.
Second that.
I have a motion and a second discussion. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Odetta,
Yes,
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. Commissioners, the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment, CDPHE, has contracted with WSP and Sunrise Engineering, two consulting firms, to help small water systems meet the lead service line inventory and replacement plan requirements outlined in the 2021 lead and copper rule revisions. These consultants are available to assist water systems who are requesting no-cost technical assistance to meet the October 16th, 2024 deadline, compliance deadline. In order to receive this assistance, we need to submit a contractor and water system service agreement form to CDPHE. So I've attached a presentation, and my thanks to Robert for being on this webinar and sort of helping get me up to speed on it. But essentially, we have to inventory all of our lines, lead and copper, and we need to. And there's a lot of work that goes into that because we're talking about service lines, not exactly main line, just our main.
So from the meter in the public piece or the meter to the faucet,
The meter
private.
to the faucet,
the private piece.
to the foundation.
Okay.
To the foundation.
Well, thank you for looking into this, and thank you for getting us on track on this one.
motion to authorize the administrator to sign and submit the contractor and water system service agreement for lead and copper rural technical assistance.
Second that.
We have a motion and a second discussion. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Odetta,
Yes,
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes. Commissioners, I added this sort of at the last minute because I wasn't sure if we're ready for this. This LEC kitchen engineering design proposal. My instinct is that we should probably continue to wait on this one. But I keep adding in there, waiting, so I don't forget about it, but also,
right.
yeah.
This would be a $19,500 design for a kitchen for the jail. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And they would find the subcontractors,
Mhm.
which is our, you know,
Sure seems like a lot of money.
No, good.
especially because it's gonna be double that when you install the kitchen or more.
In the old order, what I would have done is had our engineer, our local engineer do this, and it would be fairly inexpensive. However, without that resource here, I'm a little lacking for options. That said,
You do feel like this can be done by an engineer,
and that's what they're gonna do.
but they'll know the local health department codes and
Oh, yeah.
then I have suggestions on engineers that are very affordable. If you think that's a possibility,
I think it's a possibility, yeah.
Definitely look at the options.
absolutely. They won't do the subcontracting, but
They'll do the engineering work.
and I'm still about 50-50 on what to do moving forward with the jail, so. I hate to keep delaying this, but more than that, I hate to,
Spend money if you don't need to.
exactly. So maybe you can give us one more week.
Yeah, that works for me. And that is the end of action items.
Okay, before we before we leave action items, I know that this is not on the agenda, but I would certainly ask the commissioner's consideration to make a motion to stop paying overtime and to only authorize emergency purchases for the rest of this year. I think that we need to take a snapshot of where we are financially before we finalize the budget, and paying out overtime like crazy is not an acceptable way to move forward, in my opinion. So I would ask your consideration for a motion.
So moved.
Second that.
So I have a motion and a second. Do you have that, Sam?
Yes, I do.
Discussion.
So because we're in the middle of payroll, can we have that stop as of the beginning of this pay period that we are currently in?
Yeah, beginning with this pay period,
Yes,
the one we are in.
we are currently, okay.
And do we need to clarify that that will be transitioned into comp time, or is that implied?
That's implied.
Okay.
And that is not, and that piece of it is not until the end of the year. That's until we change it.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Okay. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spruitter,
Yes.
Commissioner Jeff,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank
Motion
you.
passes, excuse me.
Staff reports, Mr. Young.
Commissioners, my staff report is rather brief. I want to know that on RFQ 23-08, the Guitar Mountain Park operator, we did have last Monday, we did have the interviews, and we also scored at the same time. The total score for Pan Ski Corporation was 78.2, and the total score for Buckhorn Ridge Outfitters is 74.8. Because these are within 5% of each other, and just because of my general comfort level with things, I've gone ahead and requested business plans from both respondents, which are due December 19th, 2023.
Thank you.
We did submit the low income bonus applications for the community center, law enforcement center, and for the judicial building. We have to find the agreement for social services that should have gone to Sheila. But we'll work on, and hopefully that'll be left over. We can apply for that in the next round. We do have drafts of the design standards for Guitar Mountain Park. That was Paul Branch Performance Contracting Project. And we also have a draft of the facility consistent condition assessment. Actually just approved yesterday the design standards for Guitar Mountain Park after they gave me a cover memo, so it explains what it is. And I've asked some questions on the facility condition assessment. And that essentially rolls over into a capital plan for the county. The big question I had was there, because there were projects in there that are being completed as we speak for our energy performance contracting project. And I wanted to see if there's some way to like factor those out and mark them as in progress so that I can have something cleaner to go into for that transition to that capital budget. We are meeting with potentially tomorrow to go over the design development page turn for 129 Kansas. I think we're in good shape there. I think the building will be a credit, and hopefully we'll be able to start construction in the spring. Legislative session, I believe, concluded yesterday. The legislature did hand us a blow back to the property tax levels, which will be a good thing for taxpayers, but a rough thing for our budget. So as I understand from Alicia this morning, there'll be a $55,000 reduction on the value of every home to take us just a little bit under where property tax would have had us. But there is some backfill mechanism. However, I am concerned that the backfill measure will be challenged and may not stand. And if it does not stand, they wrote into legislation and this is my understanding because of course I haven't. We're waiting for CCI for the official, but if it is challenged and does not stand, we have to pay the state back.
If we accept backfill money,
Yes.
right? If we accept backfill money, keep it in a special account. We may have to give it back.
Right.
I'm just gonna make a statement here. I find it unfortunate that the voters spoke resoundingly against HH, and the legislature and the governor chose not to listen to the voters. And that's just a commentary on my opinion. That does not reflect this commission. Okay, is that it for your report?
That is it.
And county attorney. Not
She
here.
stepped out
She
for-
stepped down.
Hearing.
Correspondence.
Just one typical update from CTSI on winter storm conditions and preparations for winter storm conditions.
Okay. So before we adjourn this, we need an executive session for contract negotiation, I believe. Under,
Is it the same as what's in 12A?
so not exactly, it will be.
So do you want to go into executive session between now and DHS or after?
After DHS, but we'll have to recess this meeting. Call Board of Human Services meeting to order, go through it, have the executive session for that meeting. Recess that, end that meeting, and then go to the executive session for
This thing.
regular session.
Yeah, so what I did was I just combined all the exercises into one thing at the end, but I think you are right, Jim.
Okay, so it'll be under CRS 24-64024E for the purpose of determining positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiations, developing strategy for negotiations, and or instructing negotiators.
And then you have to read B, because that will be in this executive session. You want to do A in executive session for DHS and B in executive session for Board of County Commissioners.
Yes,
So read B.
Yes.
right. So B will be to discuss the purchase, acquisition, lease, transfer, or sale of real property, real personal or other property interests under CRS 24-64024A 611 main gym lease.
So moved.
Contract, the negotiations. For the other one is for the discussion of a contract for county administrator. So at that point, I would ask for that motion.
So moved.
So moved. What? Second.
I have a motion and second. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spurrier,
Yes.
Commissioner Adriana,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha.
Yes.
Motion passes.
And I will recess the regular meeting and thank everyone for attending. There will be no decisions made during executive session or after at this meeting, at the regular meeting.
But we're recessing now into,
We're gonna recess now. We're gonna take 5 minutes, and then at 11 a.m. we will start the Board of Human Services.
John, this is Eric from the Journal. Just a couple of questions. One, Carl, the second bidder on Thorn, what was that price? Was that 145 for everything that was for sale?
yeah, so it's one bidder, Macho Bravo LLC.
Right.
They submitted two bids, one for 1,250,000 for the
250,
entire range, and one for 800,000 for track 1 and 2.
Okay. And then the second operator proposal from the outfitter, what's the name of that group again?
I've been using Buckhorn Ridge Outfitters, but this is Brett McGraw who has the concession on Monument Lake.
Right. I knew that much. I remembered that much. Now, of course, I have to ask, is the failure of HH and what that will do to money coming into the county, or what are the factors basically, and is the county anticipating layoffs of personnel in 24?
So I think the answer to what the effect will have on the county is it'll drop property tax revenues by, I think, roughly 125,000. It might be a little bit more than that with that change, but we haven't had a chance to run those numbers yet. And that's just not to us, but it's to all the districts in the county that collect property tax. And yes, I expect that we will have layoffs in the 2024 budget.
Any rough idea of how many, or the percentage of employment?
I really don't know. There are a lot of decisions there. Real roughly 5 to 10, I would say.
What will this do to current recruitment, like at the sheriff's office, them being one of the group that has obviously had to put in for a lot of overtime for a lot of months? Does that recruiting effort continue?
Yes, and the sheriff's office is very close to being at their current budget amount, which is, I think, 11 officers. There is still a matter of the city of Walsenburg and that contract and how that shakes out. So,
Okay.
my best I have for you is stay tuned. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I understand. I noticed in the city packet that the consultant's final report on potential city, a 4-option report on reviewing city PD and its potential future has dropped. You might want to talk to the city about having a glance at that. If you can, if you have that kind of relationship, I don't know, with the MOU standing the way it is. I mean, obviously this is just a consultant's report with potential options, but I think it would be of interest to the county to see that. I just throwing that out there.
It isn't on the city's agenda as an enclosure, so I did review it this morning. It is a very interesting document.
I thought so too.
I think they did a good job of representing what I had to tell them. There's a lot to talk about, but I think the ball's in the city's court at the moment to see what they want to ask us for. There are certainly a lot of options there.
And I think at least 3 of those options call for continued county involvement.
Yes.
That's just why I had wondered if you had seen it. But that's all I had, and thank you for answering my questions.
Anytime.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
Okay, we are recessed until 11 o'clock.
Oh, you want to mute us real quick? Natalie,
I'm sorry.
you want to mute us?
Yes.
Ask the 1, 2, 3, 4 to identify themselves, or does it not matter? And Samsung,
Are you talking to me?
yes.
I can hear you.
Can you ask 1, 2, 3, 4 and Samsung to identify themselves?
Okay, the Human Services meeting is in session. First item we have is the minutes from October 17th, 2023.
Oh my God.
Commissioners, these are my attempted minutes. I think it was just Erica and Carl there, so not sure what Sam gets you, but hopefully they'll do.
Motion to approve the minutes from October 17th, 2023.
Second that.
Have a motion and a second discussion. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Ojeda,
Yes.
Chairman Lucia,
Abstain.
motion passes.
Senior Community Service Employment Program and Community Work Experience Program.
So this was Kathleen, you emailed about meeting with CSEP and CWEP.
So I received a call from the CSEP program, this Community Service Employment Program, that employs 55-year-olds on up. Their income does not count towards any assistance. They can provide up to 18 hours of services and a wide range of services, anywhere from janitorial, clerical, case management. And they are paid by that program. We just have to provide a safe employment environment. So she reached out to see if we'd be willing to be a site for possible individuals to be employed. She said there's no limit on how many we can employ. But she just wanted to make us aware that this program is available. We can use them in our offices, anywhere in the courthouse, anywhere in the community. So they are really pushing on trying to find some sites to place individuals. So that's the CSEP program. We also have the CWEP program for the Colorado Works employment program. We can have Colorado individuals that are on Colorado Works have to meet their work requirements. So we can look at possibly placing them into businesses or offices to meet those work requirements. We also can provide supportive payments to give them extra benefits if we can allow for that in our budget. So I am set to meet with Nicole Torres from the state next week, and we're going to go look over our Colorado Works and Employment First budget to see where we're at, to see about getting those supportive payments out into the community. I have the hope that maybe we can get several individuals that can help out with care and share. We would have the funding to be able to pay them for like a 3-hour time span. So I have asked Marcy to go through her caseload and see if there's any individuals that are on the Colorado Works program that would be willing and able to help us. So hopefully we can get that going for our next care and share. And once we get to know better the budget, where we're at with the budget, then we can see how much we can help people get into the workforce to get their experience. Help individuals anywhere in the community, and then gain that little extra income.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And so do we need to take action on this to accept this program, or?
I think we have to write a contract with the CSEP program. So I forwarded the email to Carl. I told her that it would probably be best to wait until we get the director fully on board so that we can discuss that with her. And then they would sign a contract with any host sites. They have to do a walkthrough to make sure that the facility is safe. They are required to provide that safe environment for them. So they would do a walkthrough of our facility or any facility that they're going to be placed in to make sure that we meet their requirements. And then I believe there's a contract to be signed But I told her we wouldn't go to that point yet until we get the director in place to be able to look at that over as well. CWEP is already in place, the Colorado Works is already in place, we just need to match individuals with, opportunities.
And we believe that the new director will be starting on Monday. So should be reaching out to each of you to schedule times to discuss and just go over the needs and get onboarded.
Great.
Thank you.
And thank you. She is online.
She couldn't be here in person, but she's been online for most of the morning.
And which brings us to Director of Human Services, new hire. So Heather, if you would like to unmute and say a few words.
Hi, everybody. I'm so sorry that I couldn't be there today. I'm with my dad at a doctor's appointment, but I'm really excited and I'll be there Monday and we're going to get meetings set up and just get rolling right away.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yes.
I don't know about you guys, but we.
We are looking forward to this.
Counting down the second. We have a, timer on there.
Yeah. We talked about December 1st and then we decided Monday sounded way better.
Monday's way better. December 1st seems far away.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Yes.
We're excited.
Thank you, Heather.
Yeah, we are. I think she's going to be a great addition.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited.
Staff reports, Andrea.
So at the Family Resource Center, we are seeing an uptick in family meetings being scheduled, which is great because we do them across both counties. It's a way that we work through barriers with child welfare clients. And so thank you, Dreama, for getting those scheduled. And so just making sure that we're, communicating that with clients so that we have good attendance, and we're seeing them being scheduled in Los Animas County as well. So it's good. That's the way that we do like the bulk of the work that we can with child welfare claims through the resource center. So it's good to see those being scheduled again. We have a mandatory webinar for possible funding opportunity through the FRCA coming up. They let us know in an email yesterday they want all Family Resource Center directors to attend. They didn't let us know what foundation it's through or if it's through CDHS or what it is, but the FRCA is the Family Resource Center Association. We paid to be a part of it each year. And in doing so, we are able to connect with all other family resource centers across the state, which turns out to be a really rich in resources for us to see what other resource centers are doing to connect. And it also will sometimes allow us to gain pass-through funding. They serve as a mediary of some funding. They also connect us with foundations and other funding opportunities that we are able to apply for directly if that's what the foundation or the agency prefers. And so they didn't let us know what this is through, but they did ask that everybody attend. And so I'm looking forward to seeing if it's something that works out for our community, then we'll see where it can go from there. So, but other than that, everyone's doing well, trying to stay healthy. There's been some sicknesses going around, and so trying to be flexible, working from home if they need to for not exposing little ones. We have playgroup and speech therapy clients who are there every day, and then playgroup on Tuesdays. And so just trying to make sure that we're also not exposing kids and asking them if they're not feeling well to also not come into the building. So 'tis the season. Other than that, everything is
I
going well.
did have a question, if I may. We had a meeting with Los Animas Health Department in preparation for if we were to receive funding for a new health department. And the question was whether or not you wanted to be in that building with the rest of DHS, and I wasn't sure what the answer was.
So, in the past, when there was a point where we were invited to also be a part of that planning, like as the resource center. And so we had done it like at the high school. We had talked about maybe like what our needs would be. And I think we had briefly discussed the good thing about having a second location for the resource center is it does really allow us to be that neutral agency. That doesn't necessarily mean that we can't be a part of it, because it makes sense for, family services to be all together with, other agencies that are providing services to families as well. My request would be a separate entrance because we, you know, just being able to, for them to come through our doors and be connected and sort of keeping it separate from DHS in that sense. Because we serve the general public as well, not necessarily just DHS clients. So that would be a, you know, a preference of ours. The only other thing that is a little difficult in that is that the rent that we pay in Crossroads right now is paid for through TANF funds, because we serve mutual TANF clients, and then having playgroup and serving TANF clients through there as well, is how we do the partnership with Crossroads. And we also share a receptionist. So Crossroads pays half the salary, we pay half the salary through TANF funds as well. And that is our full-time receptionist through the resource center. I don't know how that would work out if we moved. So I'm open to it. If we can, you know, figure out a way that makes it work. That's sort of where we stand with where we are currently placed.
May I ask a question?
Yes,
Do you think Crossroads would move?
I don't know. I don't know if they would be open to it.
They don't own the building, do they?
I'm not sure.
I
Yeah.
think they do, but just from clicking around walls, we're on a map. But it's, so part of my concern with the building is that it's a big building. Like, you guys are in like 6-7 square feet, just DHS by themselves, and it's going to like 20,000 square feet. And I was like, that's a lot of space. But if you and Crossroads are moving in there, that's less sort of change that need to be made to the building, and that enables. So we had a lot of discussion about, was it warm embraces and
Warm handoffs.
warm handoffs? Yes.
And not stigmatizing who's going through the door, because you might be there for, you know, a vaccine, or you might be there for DHS, or you might be there for a playgroup. We even talked about incorporating some kind of daycare facility. So it's like an all-inclusive health campus for all things health. But they talked about the warm handoff of, you know, you're here, well, have you met these people? Let's walk you next door. You can meet them and you can go door to door to get all the resources you needed.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, that would be amazing. I see how that could work. I don't know if Crossroads is tied to that building. I don't know. They've also in the past been open, do you guys know, to, you know, expanding their facilities. So I don't know if that's something that they can be brought in on if they're already not, to see if that's something that could work, because I would certainly be open to that.
Crossroads of Bi-County as well.
They are like,
Yeah.
they're regional. Yeah, the director, Ginger, that's there, is a regional director. Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Anything else?
No.
Mrs. Coulter.
Oh, I forget my last name sometimes. Oh, that's me. All right, so we are going to have our Christmas party on December 14th. We decided to go to the Family Resource Center instead of the community center. It's about the same space, but I don't think a lot of our staff have been over there, so we're looking forward to that. However, with that being said, we're asking so that all staff can attend if we could possibly shut the DHS office down from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. so we can all participate in reindeer games.
What date?
December 14th. It's a Friday. Thursday. It's a Thursday.
Okay, so I think we will not make a decision on that and let the new director, since she will be here.
Okay. See you Monday.
What? I typically require here.
Well, I'd just soon have a recommendation
So,
from the new director.
You want a recommendation, or do you want to just approve the decision of the new director?
Authorize the director to make a decision.
Right?
Yeah, authorize the director to make those. You want to make that motion?
I make that motion.
Second.
A motion and second. Any discussion? Heather, you got that?
I got it.
Vote, please.
Commissioner Andreatta,
Yes.
Commissioner Spooner.
Yes.
Chairman Lucia.
Yes.
Motion passes.
What else you got, Hal?
Mary B. Hill and Michelle Trehill are retiring at the end of the year. So Miss Kim helped me order plaques for them. Mary B. Hill has requested to do a birthday, excuse me, we do birthday breakfast. She's doing a retirement breakfast. So we have that in the works, and we'll work with Dream on what Michelle wants to do. Just wanted you to know that we ordered plaques for them. For single entry point, we went to a meeting last week with Trinidad Department of Human Services and the lead case manager from the Community Center Board at Southern Colorado Disability Services, as they plan for their merger to happen in February. So single entry point and Community Center Board will be combining. Community Center Board is long-term care Medicaid for developmental disability services. So we will be a one-stop shop now for both developmental disabilities and long-term care waivers, including elderly, blind, disabled, mental health, brain injury, and spinal cord injury. So they'll be having community engagement meetings coming up, and we'll be going back to Trinidad in December for that. There was also discussion if a space was needed for the case managers of Southern Colorado Disabilities, if they needed a meeting space, if they could come to DHS. We have several meeting rooms. I'm hoping that would be okay. Historically, they've been at Los Animas County Rehabilitation Center, so they're planning to continue that, but if needed, just kind of a landing spot. So Michael Aragon and other county directors will be meeting with the state at your upcoming CTSI. Hopefully I did that abbreviation right. They're going to have a conversation about our new system. Well, I guess it's not new, we got it in July, but it's not working. The state seems to be thinking that it's great and it is working, and we're all having major issues with it. So Michael's on that board to bring that attention to state leaders. APS, we're grooving.
So let's back up on that just for a second. So CCI is next week.
Yes.
Heather will be here.
Okay.
Do we want one of you guys to go to CCI to have that discussion about what's changing? It'd be a dumb meeting.
2 or 3 days.
From my point, I mean, Michael is our representative because single entry point is a part of Los Animas County. So for that, I mean, he would do that for me anyway. So as a part of single entry point.
Okay.
Anything adult protection, the state communicates much better for adult protection than they do single entry point. So if there's conversations there, I would imagine it would be about federal rule changes that are being discussed, and I'm already aware of that, so I feel like I'm okay for my programs.
Are there special sessions specific to DHS?
The DHS has its own track through CCI.
Would it be helpful if I attended any of that and brought it back?
Wouldn't hurt.
You're going, right? Carl?
Yeah.
Carl can do county commissioner, I can do DHS and report back.
Right, we don't have anybody doing road and bridge, right? Dustin is going, okay.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, thank you.
So we had 5 open cases in one day 2 weeks ago for adult protection. That was fun. But we got 4 of those cases closed on Friday, so we were happy about that.
Thank you.
Joanna and I will now be assisting Karina with LEAP. We got access to the LEAP system, so when Karina's out or if there's lots of people in the lobby, we can check on the status of applications, help fill out applications and submit them. Care and Share was a bit hectic last month. We had a date change at the last minute. And we're still working through systems and processes. It's not great. I'm not gonna lie, it's overwhelming. But we do have a meeting with the state liaison on November 27th. They are going to be mandating and rolling out a new computer system. That doesn't look like it's going to be happening. There's training on it in April, so TBD to be determined. And then I did set a meeting with Dorcas on December 8th to go over their process because they seem a lot more streamlined than what we are. Hopefully Heather will be able to join one or both of those meetings and then add her expertise from the Pueblo food mission as well. So there's just a lot of room for improvement with it. So Karina's overwhelmed with it. I'm overwhelmed with it. So we're hoping to find some solutions along with getting volunteers, because right now it's taking 3 DHS staff away from the building for half a day.
Every month.
Yeah. And every month, yeah, and so I've done it twice, Joanna's done it twice, Kyle's done it once, Kurt's done it once, but I mean, a half a day for a case manager, that's a lot of time. So work in progress, and unsure if Karina will want to continue it because it is overwhelming for her at this point. So She was manning our commodities program. Like I said, she is overwhelmed with everything. So I took commodities back. It is a part of the adult services unit, and I will be working on doing that distribution monthly. And like I said, helping her with leave.
And so commodities and Karen share like totally different processes.
Yeah, so commodities is for older adults 60 and older, and there's income requirements, and you have to be pre-registered prior to pickup. And there's a QR code, or if we do a home visit with older adults, we'll register if they come into the office, we'll register them. It's really, you show up, you sign for your box and you leave. Karen Share's issue is that you come through the line. I have to get all of your demographic information. I have to see if you meet income requirements. If you're picking up a box for somebody else, you have to have a proxy form for that now. And it can't just be a handwritten letter. It has to be a form provided by the Karen Share state program. And then the wind blows and you're just, it was a train wreck, I'm not gonna lie. And Joanna and I each did like 120 individuals that were handwriting all of their information down. So this does have their own system. That's why I set the meeting with them and to see their process. But then I'm hesitant then if they tell us on the 27th. I mean, we know they're getting their own program. So is that what Dorcas is already using? I don't know what that looks like. But Dorcas seems to have a lot better control with it. So
I got an email from Dorcas about the mobile food truck.
yes.
Apparently they want another location for it. I just was like, I'm not going to additional location.
Yeah, so Mickey D'Ambrosia and I talked last week, and her and Dawn were in the works of getting that mobile market to Gardner. She said that it was like close to being finalized. And so she didn't know where she was at with it. So I'll check with the state on the 27th, and then I'll talk to Josie Boynton. I'll send Josie an email before then. That mobile market to Gardner.
I'll forward you the email she sent.
Okay, great. That would be awesome. So that's another thing with Karen Share is Road and Bridge shop from Gardner takes the boxes to Gardner. Mickey D'Ambrosia and her volunteers distribute, and then Little Vita Village does a distribution of boxes in Levita on the same day. So there's just a lot of moving parts, and that I unfortunately at this time feel like I'm just don't get to give one thing my full attention to make it what I want it to be, and so I'm kind of just trying to get it along, I guess. So hopefully we can make it better.
Okay. Maybe we can talk Dorcas into taking it over.
So yeah, we just took the contract on though, like we just did that. So I mean, we could
I mean, have one person overseeing instead of 3 people.
100%. Yes. Yeah, and I think the Levita Village also talked to, sorry for the acronym TFAP, I'm not sure what that stands for off the top of my head, but that's who runs the Karen Share program at the state level. And I believe that Levita Village did speak to them at one time and felt like, oh, it's just a lot easier if we get that food from the county and then distribute it. So that would be my only concern is how does Levita and Gardner play into it if Dorcas takes it over, because Dorcas is just distributing in Walsenburg.
Okay. Would have to,
And obviously with over 200 families, like we're filling a need, and it is needed.
Right.
So.
that it?
Yeah.
Questions?
Just let us know what we can help you.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
I think Carl offered maybe Lito's excuse me, that is not his real name.
That is what it is.
That's Kevin's assistance if needed. I don't know. Again, I don't know what that looks like. If you're working the line, you know, there's some physical requirements of that, and so we don't, want to fall within people's workloads and measures, so.
I think if we can get it all on a tablet or a laptop tablet, I guess, that would streamline it. quite a bit.
It would, but they're asking for a lot. They're gonna be asking for a lot more information. So right now we're asking for name, address, phone number, and if you're on a public assistance program. If you're not on a public assistance program, what is your monthly income? Right now, that's just self-reported. So, you know, we check a box. Moving forward, it's gonna be a lot more than that. So I don't know if it'll be a pre-registration process like commodities.
That might be a way to do it.
It really would. Before we were handing them a slip and they'd fill it out and then you get to the front and you hand the slip over. But then you get back and you have 200 forms that you have to fill out on the TFAP form. So like you're doing the work twice. So then we moved to just writing the information down. But that's really, I mean, we're out there for 2 hours with 200 cars down the street to like Washington School. And I mean, I didn't think that line was gonna end. I thought I was gonna be out there until Thanksgiving, so. We did it, but it's overwhelming.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Okay, Dreama, I'm sorry, Mrs. Ortemis.
So on a good note, our K-State will be finishing the Child Welfare Academy next week. He's done amazing with it. We have him shadowing, he does do all of our visitation, but I also have him shadowing a couple of my veteran workers just to kind of get his feet wet. We did close 3 cases successfully. And we had a huge case closed that was going to go to a huge 4-day trial. And we were able to mitigate that. And so we'll have a party for the family. They didn't adopt, but they got what we call allocations of parental responsibility. And this foster family is actually going to stay in communication with the bio parents.
What do you call it? Allocation what?
Allocation of parental responsibility. So it's an APR. So that was a huge success. On another note, in the last 4 days, we've had 16 referrals. That is huge. Out of the 16 referrals, we've accepted 14 and we've had 3 removals in November and 1 in October. So it's been a lot, but we're moving forward. I'm now taking on some cases because it's not possible. I'm doing assessments again on top of the supervisor piece, and I'm taking on 2 to 3 cases to help. We also, we'll make it work. We also got, the hospital has a food drive they're doing for our families. My K-State actually went to go get the food today. We will have boxes to help our families. And then they're also doing a toy drive for all of our kiddos on our caseloads.
Nice.
So we will be having lots of toys and we'll be wrapping them and getting them to our families with the kids at home, our foster kids. So we'll be doing that. I think the biggest challenge right now is we're putting out a fire starting, and I feel like we're not giving our families the support they need right now. So we're really trying to just take a step back. I have told workers that if we have to work a little later, come in a little early to get things done so we can spend that time and help our families. That's what we're doing. So that's all I have right now in child welfare. Hopefully I didn't scare Heather off.
Questions? Thank you.
Yes.
Hang in there.
Oh yeah.
Helps on its way.
I agree. It's fine. It's fine.
That's our motto. It's fine.
Everything's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. We have shirts that it's fine.
Kathleen?
So we are continuing to man the call center. We're hoping to get our new hire in place sooner than later. Help start getting them trained and relieving some of the chaos that the front entails every day. So we're looking forward to that. In the meantime, we have 1 technician sitting at the call center 9 to 3. That's kind of the norm. I am also working cases until we can get the new position trained and in place. Until then, I'm having no choice but to work cases. We've seen a big uptick this month in November compared to the last 4 or 5 months in township applications medical. with the public health emergency unwind, it dropped a lot of people off of Medicaid, whether they were supposed to be dropped off or not. So we're seeing a lot of people coming in and reapplying, so it's kind of added to our workload. Cash assistance, that's kind of a norm. This time of year, we do see the increase in cash and food applications because of the holidays. We have our part-time, one of our part-time technicians is out on vacation for several weeks, so we just have to pull the slack for that. We also have had an increase in our nursing home cases. I think we have 4 new cases this month. Those are quite involved, but thank goodness Beth continues to help with those nursing cases, so we're managing those. Several weeks ago, myself, Marcy Valdez, and Chantel Ramirez met with state representatives, and this is for the Colorado Works program and the Employment First program. So we met with several state representatives. We met with the representative for Catholic Charities, and I give you all a brochure from them. Representatives from Pueblo Diversified Industries, and several people from Pueblo County that came to offer their support and assistance in getting us back on track with those programs. The Pueblo Diversified Industries help with people that have barriers to employment, whether it be physical, mental, situational things that are keeping them from getting into the workforce. So they have offered to help with Huerfano County. Catholic Charities does have Huerfano County already in place. We have several people who are working, who have been placed through Catholic Charities. They have a lot of help available. They can help people pay rent, utilities, gas money to get them to work. The list is ongoing, so they're excited to help us even more. So I'm going to be meeting with Catholic Charities again next week to finalize kind of our referral process to them. It does not require anything more on our end, but just a referral. So if we feel that there's a family or an individual who's in need of services that we can't provide, then we can refer them to Catholic Charities. So Anu, I can't remember his last name, is very helpful. They're awesome. So it's exciting to get to meet with them. Same with Pueblo Diversified. They said that they would be more than happy to help us. Pueblo County has their lead technicians that are willing to help us if Marcy or Chantel need any assistance that I'm not able to give them, then they're there for a phone call away. So it was a great meeting to have with them, and like I said, we'll be meeting with Catholic Charities again. Kind of already touched base. I'm going to meet with Nicole Torres from the state on going through our budget to see where we're at with those supportive services. I feel like there's money there we can get into the community and help individuals get better at, be self-sufficient. That's our goal for the programs. And that's really about it. Just hoping to get that new hire in as quickly as we can.
I think, what they say, December 4th start date? Second or
Yes.
4th?
Yeah, and we promoted into the machine, start the process to get them onboarded in the system. Because as we know,
That's always a check.
here. But we're getting close, I think, to being able to actually do that in a orderly fashion.
I think so. Angela said that they filled out paperwork on Friday. So I think once that paperwork is done, we can start getting with the state to get that access going. Because that tends to be where our holdup is a little bit on getting that access into everything, getting the email address and all that. So hopefully that'll go pretty quickly and we can get them into training right away and make a big difference for us.
Great.
Anything else?
I did forget one thing. So Hallie reminded me, I'm trying to forget Michelle's leaving me. She's tried to leave several times. So with her leaving December 18th, she does do our certification of kinship and foster homes. So we're gonna have to look at contracting either with another county or contracting out through a CPA individual to have that done for us, because there are state regulations that we have to follow. We got a pretty big slap on the hand because we missed one step. They weren't mad at them. We just gotta slap, but to ensure that our foster homes are certified and they have to continue to do things. So we'll have to look at, we either contract with someone or until we can get someone certified. I'm certified for that piece, but I also have to get certified for the supervisor piece of it. And right now I don't have the manpower or the time to put another thing on my plate with that. So that is something we'll have to look at.
Okay, do you have anybody in mind?
I do. I have Myra, can't think of her last name, Pacheco. She works for Kids Crossing. She does a phenomenal work. She would also do great by recruiting county foster homes for us. She wouldn't have to be in the office all the time. It wouldn't be a full-time job. It'd be a part-time position. And so I would really, if we could get her, I think we would have success with our foster homes.
She's employed at a different county and
She works for Kids Crossing, so she works out of Otero County. But she's done it for several years, and she's got child welfare background as well. So she understands the need. And we work with her through the CPA. And she would be, I believe she would be willing to do a contract with us to do on the side.
Commissioners? Anything?
No.
Girl?
anything you guys need from us? Just can't thank you enough for all that you've done previously, but certainly during this transition. So thank you for your hard work. It doesn't go unnoticed.
Yes.
Done a great job.
Question. There's the other portions of that.
Yeah, I think I wasn't comfortable.
Are you not required to?
Post for jobs, I think she's talking about Dreamless. Specified position with a specific degree.
So I think what Jamie's talking about is the contract.
Yeah.
And it's under a certain value, not required to put it out from there.
Yeah.
Right, correct.
Salary of the new director. That's 96.
That's, well, yeah, the new director will be a contract for 6 months at 96,000 with no benefits. And then we'll take it from there.
Is that one?
Okay, I would entertain, thank you guys very much. I would entertain a motion for executive session for discussion of personnel matter under CRS 246402-2F and not involving any specific employees who have requested discussion of the matter in open session. Any member of this body or elected official, the appointment of any person to fill the office of this body or an elected official, the personnel policies that do not require the discussion of matters personal to particular employees. And this is a DHS personnel update. So I would entertain a motion for that.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Andretta,
Yes.
Chairman Galusha,
Yes.
motion passes.
Okay, we will recess the regular session of the Board of Human Services. Hmm?
Do you make no actions each again?
Executive session or after.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Do you want to mute it or?
We can end it.
Because you'll get back on after.
Really?